Influencers are faking their lifestyle. Hello you gorgeous donuts. Today we're going to be looking at influencers who fake their lifestyle online. Now I don't know about you, but when I was younger I would look at influencers who are like flaunting their wealth a lot, and it kind of paints a narrative in your mind that you're not doing as well as them, and it kind of makes you feel worse about yourself if you do compare yourself to other people when you're younger. So let's have a look at how influencers are doing this. But just first, a quick word from our video's partner. How would it feel right now to get a free £20 put straight in your pocket? It would feel alright, wouldn't it? Show me the money. Well, Revolut is about to do that right for you right now. All you need to do is sign up for Revolut using my link, use your card once, and the money will be yours. Free to spend on whatever you want. I use Revolut every single day as my main account, and it's also used by over 65 million people worldwide for all of the reasons that I'm about to share with you. When you spend, you earn Rev points, which you can redeem on airline miles for over 30 different airlines. You can also use Rev points to get discounts on hotel bookings and experiences like sightseeing tours, food tasting, and action adventures. The possibilities are endless, okay? Secondly, their currency exchange takes away all of the hassle when you're spending abroad on holiday. Even if you don't exchange an app, you can pay in your usual currency and Revolut will automatically exchange the money for you into the local currency. This is honestly my favorite feature. It just takes away all of the stress trying to sort your money before going away. You can also view live exchange rates in app, and depending on your plan, you can even exchange unlimited amounts of money at great rates. In addition to this, Revolut Metal, again, is one of my favorite features of Revolut. Like, I feel so prestigious with having this card. It's like a personality trait, okay? Leave us alone. Honestly, I feel like Bruce Wayne every single time I pull this out, like I'm Batman or something, just with a lot less money. If you get the metal plan as well, it also comes with other perks such as Uber One or Tinder Gold, you know, if you're looking for that partner still. But that you've got a metal card in your bio, honestly, you'll get unlimited swipe rights, I'm just saying. You also get great interest rate on savings, which, you know, just helps add to your money. Another feature of Revolut is it makes payments with friends so easily, so if you need to split the bill in a restaurant, you can do it with just one click. All you need to do is just send these easy payment links to each other, or alternatively, you can split the spending into what Revolut calls groups. And you can use this for any occasion, like if you're going on a getaway together, like a lad or girl's holiday, or just for like a birthday or a memorable event. So yeah, sign up to Revolut with my link today, use your card once, and you will get a free £20, man! Oh, right before Christmas as well. Come on, we're treating you! So firstly, one of the big scenarios was when the viral private plane story released. For people that haven't seen this, let's take a look. So many influencers were posing for photos in what seems to be a private jet here, as you can see on this Instagram post, going to, of course, Dubai. That is the mecca for influencers. Every influencer does their pilgrimage to Dubai one day, part of the T's and C's. As you can see here, another person, you know, pretending to be asleep on their private jet. As you can see on this post, this girl said, catching flights, not feelings, you know, obviously she's on a private jet. What does a private jet do? It tends to fly. However, like I said, the many influencers that were taking photos in what's suspected to be the same private jet actually got exposed for being a studio that influencers can rent out to appear that they're traveling by private jet, but in reality, they're just paying an hourly rate to take photos in a studio. I've got the link for the studio here. Obviously, like, there's the door to get out of the studio. We've got the chairs here that we've seen many of the influencers sit in. You see on this photo, it's literally in a warehouse. Like, it's not even... This is just absolutely wild. Like, this specific studio for the private jet is not even really in a private jet. They've just, like, made it in some sort of warehouse. This went so viral that some influencers actually rented out the studio so that they could expose it a little bit. I love this. This is the perfect marketing move to, you know, to market your song. It's incredible. And also, it's just a lot more authentic and it's a lot funnier when you just admit, yeah, this is like a fake private jet studio that I just rented out because I thought it would be funny. It's so much better and a lot more relatable this way. But influencers faking things is nothing new. I imagine, you know, you've probably seen influencers exposed for, you know, faking whatever, some sort of content or whatever. But I do feel like they are getting exposed more and more for it. There was this clip of influencers turning up to do like a donation. However, they lied about how much they donated so they appeared better to their followers.
We're at the food pantry right now, and these guys back here, there's probably 15 of them here with a full production crew just so they can donate 4 turkeys.
I've always said, okay, unless, you filming it brings kind of awareness to the charity and other people can donate as well, that's amazing. But if you're filming it just so that you can show that you're rich and that you're a good person, the act of what you're doing means nothing now. Like 4 turkeys and you've got more camera crew than bloody turkeys, man!
Look, they're all walking in together with this
my
guy.
God. They're like
And then they took
it.
photos of this full thing as if they brought it when they brought like 6. I appreciate people donating, but like, don't come in here talking about how rich you are, which they did, and then donate 7 turkeys. Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're doing it 100% for the wrong reasons.
Which is entirely true. Like, this guy works there, I think. He's saying that they came in, they bragged about how rich they were, and then, donated 7 turkeys, whatever it is. Obviously, it's nice that they've donated that. But the fact that they're bragging and they're bringing a camera crew, and then they film the entire kind of box full of turkeys, and basically saying to their audience that they donated all of those turkeys, again, it's just inauthentic. And you're misleading your viewers into not only thinking that you're richer than what you are, but that you're a better person than what you are. This does not make you a good person. What are you doing, man? Whenever I see videos like this, like, it's so easy, which, a part of me does think is like, oh, what a knob, but like, what are they doing? But I actually feel kind of bad for them in a way, like, they can't be happy. They're taking these photos for strangers' validation, and they must be so empty inside for that's the only thing that makes them happy. Just a few people to comment who they don't even know, by the way, saying, oh my God, like, I wish I had your life. You don't. They're basically rammicking through the bins for this. Is rammicking a word? I'm saying loads. So you can tell it's the last video of 2025 from this channel, can't you? But one thing I am hoping so far from this video, if you didn't already, is that when you see these influencers posting about how amazing their lives are, chances are they're not as amazing as what you think. And I just kind of want to, I don't know, bring some more normality back to this. Because I know when I was growing up, like, I'd see influencers, they might have like a posh car, or they might just have expensive stuff on. And, it can make you feel worse about your own life, or if they're on holiday all the time. That was a big thing for me. Like, when you see influencers always abroad and stuff, and I wasn't going on holiday, it would make me think that I was behind, especially if they were my age. I just kind of feel worse about my own life, as I became like a victim of comparing my life with people who probably aren't even living this life that they portray online. I also remember seeing this video a couple of months ago where a woman was talking about how she's seen some high profile running influencers faking their run for content.
This running influencer, but also kind of a little bit. I just saw someone in front of me. They were just walking as a couple. They were just walking and they were very fit, looked amazing. They literally started running, and then I saw the girl give her phone to the boyfriend, and she was sprinting, like I'm talking like a 4-minute 30 or something. And so she's running and he's videoing her, and then legitimately she just stops after 10 seconds and then like comes back to her boyfriend, checks the footage, and then they just walk. And I've been walking behind them the whole time, and they're just walking.
Sorry, that's kind of funny. Like, imagine you just seeing this. I want to know how this went down. Were they like, love, will you hold that there? Right, we'll just hold that first, right? Okay, right. Did you get it? Did you get how fast I was? Did you? Do you think people are going to be influenced by that? They're going to be so influenced by it. On the what? That's my new vitamin seller. I do think this is kind of wild. Like, you can look at it from the perspective of they might have just had a run and they like to do their run, and then afterwards they'll shoot their content. But again, it's a little bit inauthentic, and I feel like it's more authentic just filming yourself when you're on the run to show how hard running is. Because sometimes you do see some people that, appearing to be running, shooting content, and they look like they're kind of, running, and it seems easy for them. Whereas in reality, for a lot of people, running isn't that easy. Now, I know I'm kind of generalizing there is a lot of good running creators, but I do find it fascinating that every single niche of influencers seem to kind of fake their content in some way, or fake something about their life. Like, just imagine these running influencers were, I don't know, promoting some sort of, vitamin or something like that, or something that you can take on your run, but they're not even running using it themselves. They're just like going for 10 seconds and then just shooting the content. Like, you don't know. You genuinely don't know.
Up the street from here, we have this $100 million mansion that costs $90 an hour to rent out. A lot of creators rent that space once a week, film their content, and make it look like they live there. Rent a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, $99 an hour. It gets crazier because most people in LA have a following, because to be a model or an actor, there's a lot of casting calls you can't go to unless you have a following. What used to happen is when you got with an agency, they would dump you a bunch of bots. Now most people realize how that damages an account, but the metrics are still there. And since most people don't know how to do that, they end up buying followers, likes, comments, shares, everything, so they can go to casting calls and keep their agency.
Oh my god, like me being within the industry, I don't feel like I am like an influencer. I consider myself more a video creator. That definitely sounds kind of uppity. I don't consider myself middle class, I consider myself upper class. But I didn't even know that was a thing. Like buying followers, buying like interaction so that you are, you know, getting enough engagement so your management don't drop you. Like that is a vicious cycle that you're never going to get out of. I also kind of really hate it because, you know, the people that are actually working really hard on their craft of, you know, whatever niche they're in, like they aren't even getting their foot in the door because someone who already has money is able to kind of, you know, gatekeep that because they're constantly buying their followers and like. I do think this is a lot more specific to like Instagram, TikTok and short form media platforms, as with YouTube it's very hard to buy any sort of metric because the algorithm just picks up on that straight away. I guess you can buy adverts and stuff like that to get your content out there, but I do feel like your content has to be somewhat good. But I definitely feel like I knew about, you know, people renting the supercars and renting the houses. There's this one specific creator I'm thinking of who, you know, appears to be very rich. He says he's very rich. He says that he drives like Lamborghinis and Ferraris, whereas everything's rented and he doesn't actually own any of this stuff. Again, just misleading your audience.
Or because there's agency funded houses out here. Anyone who's part of that agency can go film there and make it look like they live there. And they encourage you to do this because it looks better for the internet. But there's even more because we also have designer rental services. It's between $300 and $800 a month, and you get bags, shoes, sunglasses, clothing, anything you need, all designer. Just wear it, get your pictures, and then send it back. As long as you don't ruin it, you don't have to pay for it. You can fully construct a lifestyle out here of wealth. And that's part of the reason we're starting to get a bunch of influencer debt resolution companies now. Like, you don't need to feel bad about yourself. Just wear the 10-cent shirt from the thrift store. Nobody cares, I promise you.
I would like to hear your opinion in the comments why you think people do this, because I think you're kind of, you know, just making yourself seem really just out of touch, whereas you don't have the money to seem out of touch, if that makes sense. Why don't you actually film like the build up and, you know, you having no money and stuff, and people can relate to that, you know, people can like get behind you, people will want to support you more. But if you're starting off appearing to be a multi-millionaire, nobody wants to support that unless you've got an amazing personality and that's the thing that carries your content. People are automatically just going to think, well, I can't relate to this person, so why would I watch them at all?
Every time I open up this app, I kid you not, I see somebody talking about how are these 19 and 20-year-old influencers living in these sky-rise apartments, driving Lamborghinis, unboxing a $500 to $2,000 bag every week. As somebody that's been in the influencer space for over 10 years, let me tell you exactly how they're doing it. Obviously, some people are born lucky. They get born into rich families and their families take care of them, so they're able to shop like that. But let me tell you about the other 90%. I told you guys in a previous TikTok that I witnessed somebody's card get declined and they managed to open up another line of credit on their phone in under 10 minutes and pay for said bag that was thousands of dollars. I have watched people film $10,000 shopping haul and then go and return all of it.
Bro, I just feel like I couldn't respect myself. You know, if I'd paid £10,000 for whatever the hell I could get with that, like in a clothes, in a clothing shop, and then I film a haul from like this brand's clothes, and then the next day I like give them back. Honestly, listening to things like this makes me feel better, and I wish that I had this content when I was younger because it would have made me kind of, you know, it would have stopped me comparing myself to these unattainable people who aren't living the lives that they say they do. You can probably tell from the pain in my voice because of how this would make me feel when I was younger.
I'm sure you guys have come across those girls that are like, I don't wear things more than once. Yeah, because most of them are returning it. Like, not the fake bouginess. How are they driving these expensive ass cars? Child, they are renting them by the week. I'm talking spending $1,000 to fake flex a car, film a whole car tour just to have to return it. That's why I say do not believe everything that you see online, because most of it is fake. I have had at least 10 influencers tell me that they have never paid their taxes.
This is something we're going to get onto later in the video, and how one specific creator we're going to react to has never ever paid taxes despite earning over 6 figures. But yeah, there's more and more of these videos of people within the industry exposing influencers, and I just like it.
I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. There's a couple of girls. Obviously, they're well past this now. But I know they first started out by buying fake bags because it obviously made them look more luxe and elevated to get those bigger brand deals in. Just so interesting because it's the whole concept of you can wear an outfit that costs like 50 quid, but if you've got a Chanel bag on as well, you immediately look
super luxe, you're going to bring in those luxury brand deals, the luxury beauty brands. That's like a really quick way to elevate yourself.
And that is true. That is a quick way to, like, it's almost like fake it until you make it. I understand that. But also, I feel like your whole kind of persona and your whole business is built on, like, ice. Like, it can crack at any moment when people find this information out about you. If you're lying to your audience, they will find out. And I do find this such a shame that some influencers decide to do this, because I feel like if they were actually just posting how their actual life is, that would be a lot more relatable. I don't feel like you do need to be, like, boastful and appear to be doing better than what you are, because that does play into insecurities of a lot of people that will follow you. Like, you see countless examples online where people say, oh, I don't feel like I'm doing as well in life because I look at these people on social media and they seem to have it all figured out, and if you don't in your life feel like you have it all figured out, obviously that's going to make you feel worse, because everything online you're consuming is people doing better than you, whereas in reality, like we've seen in this video, it's actually people just flaunting a fake lifestyle that actually isn't theirs. So a lot of their viewers do get caught up in this fantasy, which just makes them feel worse, and I do think it's just very hard.
I'd put off sharing the fact that I'd gone back to my 9 to 5, and I do think that there's this stigma around Love Islanders not wanting to kind of face up and accept the fact that they've had to go back to full-time work, but it is the reality for a lot of people, and I just thought this is useful for anyone thinking about going on. Like, you're not going to come out and be a millionaire and be able to rely on social media for the rest of your life. You know, this is the reality of it. I've had to go back to a full-time job to be able to support myself. And the reaction I got was actually really positive, and loads of other people were saying, you know, this is the side of it that people need to talk about. Like, not everyone's going to be Molly May, and a few people were curious as to what my job was and things like that. And I want to be proud to own the fact that I'm able to go back and, you know, I'm qualified to do that. I'm like successful in both ways.
I actually really like this. The fact that she went on Love Island to try and be an influencer, that's obviously not authentic, because, you know, that's a dating show, you go on there to find love, but nobody goes on Love Island to find love anymore, despite what they say. That is a show that people use as a vehicle to try and launch themselves into being an influencer, let's face it, at this time. And she's saying, look, like, my job, I'm qualified to do my job. You know, you could say I'm not qualified to be an influencer, so there's no shame in going back to that. Like, there's no shame. The only shame is the shame that you put on yourself.
Being on TikTok is weird, right? I'll be real, I thought I was going to be minted by now. I'm still skint, bro. What the going on? Either all these influencers are lying, yeah, and loads of other TikTokers are also skint, or I don't know.
Brother, I think they are. Right? There will obviously be a lot of TikTokers, I imagine, are millionaires and, you know, doing really well for themselves. But there is also a lot of people that are possibly lying. And again, I just like when creators are coming forward and being like, look, like, I'm doing this, I'm putting the work in, and, you know, I'm not getting financially rewarded for it. I'm still, you know, I've still got no money. Because I know when I was trying to grow as a content creator, there definitely wasn't content out like that for me to relate to. Just personally, for me, I think it took me, it might have took me about 7 years doing this to earn the minimum wage of what someone would if they were full-time. It probably took me about 7 years to get to that level, and that's 7 years of me, like, constantly doing it as well, not just like taking a year off or whatever. That's how long it took me to earn minimum wage, I'd say. Now, moving on, another huge reason why influencers kind of go broke is over the scary thing that we call taxes. Now, obviously in the UK where I live, you know, you get taxed for your earnings, you know, there's different thresholds depending how much you're earning, and obviously the tax bands kind of change if you have a limited company, but if you're just self-employed or an employee, you follow the same tax bands, and unless you're registered as a company, as a creator, then obviously you fall into the self-employed category. That's what a lot of creators will be. And one creator who I imagine is self-employed who has been avoiding their taxes is a creator called Elphaba. Many of you will know her from the UK. She's like a huge TikToker over here.
How'd you get into debt that bad? Spending a lot of money that I wasn't used to, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I just kind of went for it, and I was stupid about it, and I didn't even know that you had to pay tax on that, to be honest. Like, I just spent, because I wasn't used to that kind of money that I was getting. I wasn't.
Now, hear me out here. Firstly, okay, obviously this is horrific, like, and it's almost like an ego thing in a way, because you think that you're an influencer and, you know, you're above other people, that the way that you earn money doesn't mean that you have to pay taxes on it, because you're an influencer and you're influencing people, you're helping people, you're saving lives. But on the other hand, I will say that you aren't taught how to do taxes, and an unfathomable amount of creators I know have issues with taxes when they first start doing them, because obviously you don't know how to do your own. Like, if you're an employee, your taxes are sorted before you even get paid. When you become a creator, you have to sort your own out, and obviously if you've never learned how to do that, it can be very difficult. But I do find it hard to find sympathy for people that just didn't even think they would have to pay tax, as if this money's kind of just free money, like gift money.
How much did I make? Oh, I can tell you. I made £79,000 in a year, and that was in 2023 to 24. I've made around 150k, not 350k, 150k, I think around there.
So Elphaba said there that she earned around £80,000 in a year. Now, she would obviously, if she's self-employed, would have to pay around £30,000 in tax, and she just hasn't. And again, like, you probably don't need me to kind of, you know, show you behind the curtain with this, but this is why a lot of, like, influencers and creators move to places like Dubai or other tax havens, because you don't actually have to pay any tax on your money, so you can keep the entirety of your money.
I have literally never heard anyone expose this about influencing before, but all the PR we're getting, it's not free. And to demonstrate just how unfree it is, I'm going to do a little story time. So about a year ago, I was just a girl when I started getting Revolve gifting. Each month, I got an allowance of $2,000 of free Revolve to pick out. So obviously, I'm on top of the world, and I'm racking up $2,000 each month. Who wouldn't?
By the way, isn't it mad? And I know that it makes sense because obviously they have the platform which helps the company. But isn't it mad that when people become richer, they get free things? Like, the people who don't need the free things get the... It's mad when you think about it.
As I said, at the time this started, I was just a girl. I had never paid taxes before until this year. And this year, my financial advisor notifies me that I am paying $3,500 to Revolve in taxes. What? Somewhere in the fine print of that PR, which I obviously didn't read, it states that you get taxed, and I had turned in a W-9 to them, but I didn't know what a W-9 was, so I didn't know I was getting taxed. Anyways, I think the rule is that anytime you're getting paid over $500, and yes, being paid in clothing counts, you can be taxed. Which, of course, paying $3,500 for the $25,000 worth of clothes that I had gotten over the year was an amazing deal, but I just didn't know that was the deal.
But again, that's kind of wild, and that blew my mind, because in my mind, if someone was sending you something for free, you wouldn't have to pay taxes on it. And I feel like I have a good understanding of taxes, but I never get, like, things for free. Like, I don't do gifted things. But yeah, I just thought that was such an interesting clip to show that she had to pay all of that money to the company that were actually giving her the things for free, so they weren't really free.
Let's talk about why I'm kind of nervous. Today, I made the decision that I don't want to be a full-time influencer. My face is red. For context, I've been doing this for 3 years. It is my main source of income. I graduated May of 2023 from the University of Notre Dame, and while I was in school, I always felt like I had this golden ticket. I felt like I had this incredible opportunity in my hands to maximize my growth and my income that I fully couldn't take advantage of because I had to devote so much time to studying and school. So I was so excited to do this full time. Naturally, once I graduated, I chose to pursue this path. Also, for context, it's currently my first New York City Fashion Week. Things are looking well career-wise. I've secured good brand deals. Social media has paid me better than any job that I could have gotten right out of college ever would have. I'm aware of the privilege and the opportunities that this job brings, but here are my reasons why I've decided that this is not what I want to do full time. Number one, I'm tired of making everything about myself. My job requires me to look at myself and talk about what I think or what I did, and then I post myself, and then I reply to comments about myself. It also means that when I'm out with my friends or when I go get coffee or when I go do anything with my life, I have to take time out of my day to take a picture of me or to take a video of me. I hate that.
You know what? This is so self-aware. This is class. That's what the top comment says. Queen, this is so self-aware. I love this. Because that would me off too. Even, like, obviously they're getting well compensated for it, but, you know, imagine you are out with your partner and, like, every little thing in your life, they have to take a photo of it. Like, you're not allowed to eat without, like, you know, full content video of this. You got to film this. You got to take a picture out of every... Like, it would just get a little bit exhausting. And it would just, you know, it would kind of have an impact on your relationship, I imagine. You know, because you're like, wait, are you out because you want to be out with me? Are you out because you know that you need to, you know, take photos of yourself and whatever? Like, you would start to question things like that. And I do like that she's kind of talking about things that aren't often talked about within, you know, being an influencer. Now, this is what I would call influencing, where it's kind of everything's about you. And everything's about your, like, like day in the life, whereas I don't do any of that. Like, when do you ever see me taking a photo of, like, I don't know, myself outside of a restaurant, or like me vlogging what I'm eating? Like, that's just not kind of what I do. And again, that's why I don't kind of class myself as an influencer. I know many people will call me an influencer, which is fine, but if anyone does call me an influencer, or anyone again calls me Cammy in the comments, just know I'll have your head for it. But yeah, donuts, the goal of this video was kind of just to offer you a fresh perspective, hopefully, that you shouldn't compare your lives to the people that you see online, because, you know, these people who are appearing to do better than you possibly aren't, and you shouldn't feel bad about, you know, like how well they seem like they're doing. You shouldn't put yourself down because of that, because I know I used to do it a lot when I was younger, and I wish I could have seen a video like this to kind of be like, you know what, you're good, you know, like, you're not behind, you're not worse than these people aren't better than you, because at least you're being authentic in your life and they're not. If you did enjoy this video, please do drop a like, and if you want to see me react to some rich, out of touch influencers that genuinely need to be stopped right now, click this video here. The clips in this genuinely will blow your mind. I'll see you over there. Bye bye, and Merry Christmas, donuts. By the way, this is the last video until the new year. Thank you very much for all the support. I really do appreciate it.
Camkirkham, baby.